All right, we are back for another week, another show, and this one
On
was
MMA
May
Live,
Live. That's right,
AllStar,
the
baby,
T-shirt. If you guys want
company
to,
man,
if you guys want a
company
T-shirt,
man.
exactly. If you guys want a T-shirt, go visit Dan at Combat Academy, and he should
Nah,
have
I
a
actually
few
gave
for
them
you.
all out. I actually gave them
Oh,
all out. They sent me 50 t-shirts, 50 jumpers. I have a couple of. I have like a human amount to wear, so I have like two or three of each,
mhm.
two or three jumpers, two or three t-shirts. But I just took the box. I took a couple of boxes down to City Kickboxing and just let it rip. Let it rip.
All
Take
right,
one,
there you
boys. So
go.
I'm sure you'll see them. That's the thing with it, right? Like you'll see them
Yeah.
pop up every now and then, and pictures here and there. But they're gone into the wind now. Don't hit me up for t-shirts. Don't hit me up for free t-shirts.
We're gonna have to send you another box of 500. Just people flowing into the gym, just like, "Hey, I'm here for the free T-shirt. Can you sign it?" Do you get a lot of that in New Zealand? Just people like coming into the gym and just randomly, just want to meet you and shit.
Nah, not too much. Like, I don't know. If you want to meet me, just come down and train. Like, it's really not. It's really not like that. Like, I teach, yeah. Like, you have people come into train and they're like trip out of it. Like, they come in and they're just like, like you're actually here. I'm like, yep, yep. No, I'm actually.
A
I
person.
do. I do run. I do operate this business. Like, I do. I am here. I am here regularly. Yes. And then
Yes.
you're like just teaching, like I teach, it's a they're like open to the public classes. They're just like public classes that you
Yeah.
come down, you just train like a casual, and that's it. So it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
If you want to meet me, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I think this is the only one of the only sports where you can actually go train with the elite athletes if you really wanted to, or learn from the elite athletes if you really wanted to. Because when you look at other sports, right? Like let's say LeBron James, right? Someone that everybody knows their name, even if you don't know about basketball. You're not gonna go to a fucking gym and learn from LeBron James. You're gonna have to go to like some super summer camp or some shit that costs like $365,000, and then you got 2 days with LeBron James. But in this sport, you can go all over the fucking world and learn from
Yeah,
like the
yeah. It's
best
like
of the
actually
best.
mad. I've heard Eugene talk about it before in the past, and he's just like, yeah, like with the All Blacks in New Zealand, it's like you can hardly just show up at one of their training sessions with like a pair of boots and just be like, oh, so I'll just chuck around the ball today, or like it's but you can do that in MMA. You can turn up at City Kickboxing. You can pay or whatever it is, $10, $20 casual fee and jump in a class, and like Eugene Bierman will be taking the class. You know what I mean? Or I don't think they do it anymore, but like Huge would have the like a fighters take a night. So Israel used to have to take like a night class and all of that. So you'd go in, pay a public class, and it'd just be 50 beginners, and there's Israel Adesanya right there teaching that class. And yeah,
Yeah,
I just don't. That just doesn't happen in any other professional sports. That's why, man, fight gyms are like a really funny place. It's like a very, it's like an incredibly eclectic mix of people. Like, I'll have, you know, police officers, people from the military, ambulance driver, but then you're also going to have gang members. You're going to have, you know, guys that don't make their money in the most towards, like, it's like a huge mix of people, and it's not stop anyone at the door. Like no one gets stopped at the door. Like, oh no, you're from here. Like you're not allowed here. Like it's not like that at a fight gym. Like as long as you come on the mat, you show respect. You're welcome. So it doesn't matter whether you're a police officer or whether you're a gang member. Like as long as you come on the mat and show respect, that's all there is to it. There's no you spy, you look after your training partners. Like that's all it comes down to. It's like you could be you could be a politician, squeaky clean. Come on, step on my mats, and you're a dickhead, and you're speaking while I'm speaking, and you're punching your training partners too hard. Like I'm gonna kick you out. Like it doesn't matter. doesn't matter who you are. It's about showing respect. So yeah, they are like a funny place. Fight gyms, you'll find some pretty. It's a funny place. That's all.
It is a funny place, and you do find some interesting characters. And like, you know, going back to what, you know, I was saying about like being able to train with like the highest level coaches and fighters. I think I need to take advantage of that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm doing now. Like, moving forward, I'm taking advantage of that. I want to go spar, you know, this fighter, maybe just in grappling or maybe just in striking. So that's what I'm like looking forward to. Like, okay, there's this person here in Phuket right now. I should go and reach out to them and spar them, record it, and then explain to people like the, you know, remember your idea of like bringing someone from the crowd to fight. It's kind of like that in a way, just like toned down to let people know the experience of like actually grappling with Volk, because I got to grapple with Volk last week, right, for 1 round.
Yeah, I saw your like video talking about it. That was cool. That's like cool for that's cool for people. That's a cool insight. That you're not going to get in a lot of other sports. I think that's like a really good idea to take that. And you'd be surprised at the amount of fighters that if you just hit them up, they'll be cool with it. You know what I mean? Or like not even to spar them, or hey man, can you show me some things, or hey, can we work together? Like, I've been like a lot of different places, trained like a lot of different places, and then like people will just come up to you and be like, "Hey man, can we do some drilling after this?" Or "Hey, can we do it?" And I said, "Yeah," or like, "You're right." And then they see you like drilling with like a beginner, or they're drilling with someone new, and the people come up to you like, "Dan, you know, what are you doing training with this guy? We got 20 pro fighters standing around here, and you're training with this like a guy with a couple of fights or an amateur fight, you know?" And you're just like, well, like he asked me. I was like, those 20 guys standing over there didn't ask me, you know? I was like, this guy came up and he asked me, like, so I'll give him my time.
Brendan Loughnane, he was here training for his fight for PFL. He just fought, and he was supposed to be the first one for me to spar, because like, you know, I suggested it to him, and when I suggested it to him, you know what he did? He laughed and said, "Are you serious? Like, you want to spar me?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I want to try. I want to feel it." You know what I mean? I know it's not going to be 100%, but I want to kind of like feel like, you know, what it is to like stand in front of somebody, you know, like a real fighter, and move around.
You'll find it's actually it's like because we're so experienced that we can like control how hard we hit. Like the dangers in sparring is in like the going with another like a beginner who's like real tense or not used to or doesn't understand how to control their power. Like that's the real danger to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing when you like actually start fighting, which is like the funny thing. For me, like the first 5 fights, I just call it's like a bit of a minefield. If you're being honest, like you go out there and everyone's so tense and everyone's like so locked up. Everyone wants to win like their first fight. They're so tense. And it's not calm. But once you get to that 10 fights, like 20 fights, like people start actually implementing the techniques and training. Like there's time, everyone understands distance. Like, okay, he's doing this. Like they actually play the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's the first 5 fights where everyone's just like kind of button bashing. That's like that one's the dangerous one, and that one is like even hard to coach, because to get people to listen in like those first 5 fights is quite difficult, because you don't know how the person's going to react. You don't know, like, when they get hit with a good shot, what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? It's hard to understand a person until you've actually been there and chucked them in the deep end and seen how they kind of swim. So yeah, it's a funny game. It's a funny game that you have got yourself into. I'm in too deep. I'm in too deep. I ain't going nowhere. I've learned all of these things the hard way. Now it's your turn.
You're like that cop that, you know, was a good cop and he went undercover into some biker gang, and then he just got too deep and he can't get out, and now he's the leader of the fucking gang. You know what I mean? Like, you're like in that position with fighting, right?
Now I'm the leader.
Yeah. It's Joe Lopez told me, you know, before he left, he said, "Hey man, just be careful like who you pick to spar with too, because you don't want some like berserker coming at you and you know, fucking around and fucking you up a little bit when you're trying to get used to getting punched in the face. You know what I mean? Like, I got to get used to that. So
Yeah.
I need to spar people that are a little bit more technical and understand, like you said, understand how to control their power and speed and all that stuff. But yeah, man, I got a lot of good like fighters that I got lined up to spar, like just like maybe striking or just grappling or maybe all of it. You know, eventually as I go further, you know, into training, I'll want to grapple them, but with the small gloves and like full takedowns, submissions, you know, striking. But for now, I'll do some striking. I'm lining up Fiziev for like a stand up.
My man is on the warpath. My man is jumping in the deep end. Nah, it's actually like better for you. Like there'll be like, as I say, far more control. Of course, you're still gonna get ass whooped and still gonna get hurt, but like no one's. That's like the difference. Like a good fighter has the ability to like hurt someone without actually injuring them. At the like lower level, that's where people hurt and injure their like partners or their opponents. So you're kind of onto something. I would say it's gonna be fun to watch you do it. I'll say that it's gonna be fun to watch you sink and probably sink.
Yeah, sink and sink even deeper. You know what I mean? Like and get deeper, and you know, it's gonna be yeah, a lot of, you know, I got some good like feedback from people. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, you know, it's cool that you're doing that because nobody's doing that. Like nobody's, you know, I want to do something different covering the sport. Like I realized that like I can't be Arrow Hawani. Like everybody's out there kind of like trying to be that, you know what I mean, covering shows and if that's your thing, that's your thing. You know, I'm not gonna hate on you, but I think there's so many people just grasping at straws, but there are not very many straws out there, and you got to blaze your own path somehow. So I think
There's like I understand what you're saying. There's like a lot of people fighting over the same content, and we're kind of can see where that's going, and it like delves into like just the clickbait kind of headlines. Like everyone's kind of the amount of headlines that come. I actually had people like message me like, "Oh, I read this article," but it was like an article where I'd said something here and it had been taken out of context. They've written a whole article taken out of context, and then there's like people talking to me about the taken out of context article, and I was like, "This is like some weird level inception." You know what I mean? Like, it's like unless you see it come out of my mouth and I say it, then just probably just leave it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There has been some unique content that has come out of this show with with your opinions, because sometimes you're just like tongue in cheek stuff too.
This is a shout out to whoever the people are sitting there just going, just like they're sitting down with their pad and their pen and they're just like, say something dumb. They're just like, say a dumb line that I can take. He's like, give me headlines. Do your own homework. Do your own. Nah, it's a good show. It's a good show.
It's a good show. Keep watching, guys. Keep watching and have your pen out. Because, you know, remember when it first started?
I am going to say something dumb anyway, so you may as well keep watching. I'm going to try not to.
When that first started happening, I believe it was like Joe Rogan was the victim for a long time. You know, like they would just watch his show and then just write out everything he would say about anything with MMA.
Like to this day though, that's like Joe Rogan's thing. As soon as he does a podcast with like an MMA guy on it, the amount of headlines that get like cooked up from that podcast is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous because like we're on the other side of the world. So when we wake up, we find out news like 8 hours later. You know what I mean? Like it's like 8 hours have passed and there's, you know, people are fucking shooting their heads out, you know what I mean, because of something happening, you know, in MMA world. And we will wake up to it. And it's like Joe Rogan says, Usman, calm down. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to leave Canelo alone. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man, let Usman do his thing. Like if he wants to go attack him, go attack him. You know, just go try to.
If he wants to do it for Twitter clout, do it. But do not box that man.
Yeah, he's a crazy animal. Yeah, it's interesting times, man. With I just want to say it, media. Did you last week we were talking about women's boxing, right? And you I didn't know about like how there were 2 rounds compared to like men are 3 rounds, and there was that boxing match that just happened today as we speak, the Katie Taylor versus
Serrano,
Amanda Serrano, and looks like Katie Taylor won the fight, but it's controversial.
Ooh, didn't the bros have $1 million side bet on that?
Exactly, right. I was watching that last night with.
They're not actually gonna do. They're not actually do that. Come on.
Yeah, I would think that they would just
You think
be.
they had like a word to each other out back before that, and we're just
Of
like, hey,
course.
let's spice this up a bit.
Yeah.
Let's chuck them. Let's say we're chucking $1 million on the line. They might be that rich. Unlikely.
I was watching the interview that they did together, Eddie Hearn and Jake Paul. Man, I like Eddie Hearn, man. I think that he's a good promoter because he was talking straight shit to Jake Paul's face, but he was like speaking facts though at the same time. But in his face, like when they were both doing the interview, multiple times throughout the interview, and I was just like, I like this guy, man, because I never really watched any of Eddie Hearn's interviews, and I was watching him and listening to him. I was like, damn.
Well, we had the Eddie Hearn, Jake Paul media tour to promote that fight, right? Like I would have had no idea that Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fight was even happening unless there were all the media that they drum up by those two having arguments. Like that's really what it came down to, selling that fight, not the two actual fighters, but the two managers going at it.
Yeah.
I always say that to like my fighters. Like I don't care if you could be about as interesting as a potato. Like I can sell a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what
I'll be old fat, get out there on the mic, and I'll just like go full WWE, full Al Heyman, just getting after them. I'm gonna grow a ponytail, wear a suit. I'm gonna slick my hair back. I'm gonna wear a suit, gold rings, and I'm gonna sell fights. That's what I'm gonna do.
I can't wait for that, man. The newest promotion out of New Zealand. You at the helm, but you look like what's his name? Heyman? Paul Heyman or whatever?
Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Al Heyman. I can't remember.
Al Heyman.
I look like bullshit. Cheap, just dressed like a cheap car salesman, cheap used car salesman.
There you go. There's the first article right there. Dan Hooker's future in promotion.
Yeah.
Inspired by Paul Heyman.
Dan Hooker quitting fighting to be used car salesman. That's like what it was like. I like read a headline like that. Like, what the fuck? I didn't even say that.
Imagine like even like guys that are like bigger in the MMA world, you know what I mean? Like everything that they do. Like Sean O'Malley, man, he has his own podcast. There's like a couple of fucking news articles a week about whatever he said. Like O'Malley dissects Font Vera. You know what I mean? Like O'Malley wants to fight Font next. Yeah, you know, like it's just everything that's coming from his show. So everybody that has a show, good for you, man. I think a lot of the fighters are starting to, realize that anything you say, it becomes a headline. You know what I mean? Like just anything. It doesn't even matter if you're joking around or something. But let's get into this main event, man. It was a fun main event. Rob Font, he came out the gate. I thought he had a great game plan. I thought the shot selection was incredible, man. The uppercut, the shots, punches to the body, pressuring Marlon. But Marlon, dude, he just stood there and just chipped away. That front kick to the face, to the chest, to the stomach. And Font landed so much more, but it doesn't seem like it impacted Vera. And then when Vera would land, he dropped him 3 rounds out of 2 especially at the end. Those are some crazy rounds, right? Where Rob Font's like moving forward, landing, multiple combinations for like 4 minutes, and then bow. Vera just lands just a haymaker. Like that knee was beautiful, right? The knee.
Yeah, that's
And
like the true danger in being like a volume puncher. Is you just obviously you throw more, you're leaving more opportunity for your opponent to get your timing down and to look for their counter. For me, it was the jab of Vera that was really creating a lot of the damage, or Vera, boom, like landed like a big shot kind of out of nowhere, but it was just keeping that real tight guard in a super high guard, dipped himself like real low, which obviously left him exposed for the uppercut, but he also had closed his elbows in so far that had taken care of the uppercut as well. So he wasn't eating a lot of that damage. Although Font was getting off in volume, Font was punching in numbers, and you look at the numbers, like his strikes landed, like a lot of them would have landed on a guard, but it would have volume definitely went to Font, but just Vera touching him with that jab. Yeah. You could see on his face that just that accumulated by the end of the fight, just touching him with the jab, like the swelling around his face. Then when he started touching him with like a big knee or touching him with a big shot, it just bust him up. He just started opening him up with those bigger shots. But for me, it was the ability to move. It was the footwork of Vera and the jab of Vera, which kind of stifled Rob Font's pressure.
What do you think of the theory of, Rob Font missing weight by a couple of pounds that affected his chin in this fight? Maybe if he didn't miss weight, or maybe he had a better weight cut, would he have been able to take those shots and maybe even won those rounds? You know what I mean? Because I feel like those shots, those most impactful shots was by Vera, and then he did it like at the most opportune time, which was at the end of the round, right? Like I think the judges see that, and then the damage that Rob Font was taking after those big shots, that kind of sways them more than, let's say, 4 minutes of pressure and volume striking.
Yeah, that's a funny one though. That's a funny one because it's such an intangible. You can have like two shots that look exactly the same. Like, oh, he got hit with a left hook in the second round. Oh, well, this guy got hit with a left hook in the second round and he was fine. Like there's in millimeters, like what way the guy's standing, what speed, like he saw it, he didn't see it. There's so much goes into it. And guys get hit with the same punch. One gets knocked out, one doesn't get knocked out. That's just, to me, and I've said it before, like no one has a good chin. People used to say it. This is like people say about me. They're like, oh, you used to have a good chin. Now his chin's gone. Now he doesn't have a chin. It's like, nah, like I just got hit in the chin. Like there's just the punches you see and the punches you don't see. Like I wouldn't, if someone comes up to me and they say, man, I've got a granite chin. I got the best chin in the world. I'd say, all right, close your eyes and stick your chin up in the air and I'm going to hit you. I bet they're not going to do it. Like they're not going to do it because there's like, regardless of who you are, like this is in the world. If you close your eyes, stick your chin up in the air, like I wouldn't let my missus hit me in the chin. She ain't never had a fight in her life. Done a couple of boxing classes. She's probably gonna knock you out. You get your missus to hit you in the chin while you're not looking. She's probably gonna knock you out. So there's people that get hit in the chin, and there's people that don't get hit in the chin. The guys that last longer or more durable, or guys that just don't get caught with those punches you don't see, or those perfect shots.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the punches you don't see, you know what I mean? Like the stuff that, like I think a lot of times, like sometimes you see fighters like gut down and they're not really looking up, but they're looking down and kind of like pushing away. And you see a lot of fighters get hit in that transition or that position, right? Where they're like kind of like pushing away like this, their head is down, and then just get caught with like a knee or an uppercut. And it rocks them, man, because they don't see.
Yeah, I would say like whenever you're like, you always see those ones where it doesn't look that hard, and you think like, man, he just clipped him as he was turning away, or you have to understand that like when you don't see the punch, obviously you don't have time to brace. Like a lot of getting knocked out is like it has a lot to do with like your neck muscles and your neck being strong. So if you don't see the punch, you don't have time to tense your neck, which obviously braces the impact, and you don't absorb like that same shock on your jaw. It's like the shock on the jaw that what sets you off. So if you don't have that time to brace your neck and brace for impact, like then you can take like a solid punch like coming straight towards you, you know what I mean? But if you don't see the punch, you don't have time to brace those neck muscles. Or you'll see like a lot of knockouts where like both guys are kind of going for the same punch. Both guys are going for the same left hook, and they get knocked out because one guy clips one guy, but one guy's like, they're both turning towards it, which obviously like essentially that doubles the impact of the punch. You know what I mean? Like if I like hold a stake out and you're coming from a foot away and I don't move it and you step into it, oh, you're gonna get a poke. If you run full speed at it, like it's gonna go right through you. It's the same thing like with a punch. Like if we're both turning towards it and one of those punches lands, it's gonna have doubled the impact. So it's like a combination of not seeing it, not having a chance to brace your neck muscles, brace for impact, and then also like moving towards the punch or moving like away from the punch also like has a lot to do with it. It's science. It's science.
It reminds me of your fight with Gilbert Burns. That was kind of like what happened, right? You guys were both throwing the hook at the same time. And I don't know if you landed first, but you landed with more impact. And then Burns was gone after that. You know what I mean? Like he got dropped and then you finished him. Do you think that's kind of like what you're talking about right now? Like when you guys both swing?
Like there's man, I'm just saying there's just so much like going. I'd already clipped him off like a good shot before that, and he was already obviously hurt. So we probably like landed the same. We probably landed the exact same punch. But if someone's like, if you look at it like a damage bar, if like one guy's damage bar is here and the other guy's is here, we both land the left hook. Well, now my damage bar is here and your one's like over the threshold. Like that's kind of different position. That's why there's like so many like you can't just say like this or that. There's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, definitely. And man, Marlon Vera, man, he takes out Rob Font, I think he was ranked like number 3 or 4 or something like that. Before that, he knocked out Frankie Edgar, beat Davey Grant, who's really, really, really good. 3 in a row. He's doing pretty solid, man, in that bantamweight division. Is filled with sharks.
Killing it.
I want to see him fight Corey Sandhagen. I think that's going to be the fight to make.
See, I was just waiting for you to say it. I was like, that's the fight, right? They're probably going to do... What do you think? Aldo? Well, Sterling is now calling for Aldo. Aldo says he's been offered the fight. Sterling, Aldo, TJ.
Okay. I wanted to stop right there. You know when fighters say that they were offered the fight, or the fighter says like, yeah, they offered him the fight, but he turned it down? Like, how much can you believe of that? You know what I mean? Because could that be part of like you getting the fight, like you saying it, and then there's like public push for you to get that fight because like you could kind of
how much of it can you believe?
Yeah,
none of it, none of it. Oh, he got the contract. Like it's just whispers, man. It's just it's just whispers getting passed on. Like especially if there's like you add layers to the cake, you add managers into the mix, you add promoters into the mix. Like there's a lot of people telling a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Like of course things get misunderstood. You know, like the matchmaker's trying to get the fight done that he wants to do for the promotion, right? So then he's going out there and just being like, no, he's not. This guy said this guy said that. Like, how are you ever you're never gonna get all of these people in the same room to justify it. So why not go out there on Twitter and say, oh, I've been offered this fight? Like no one's you can hardly post the contract online. That's illegal. You will get sued. You can hardly go out there and post your boss's emails online. Like again, it's illegal. You get in a lot of trouble for that. So it's just you can't do anything to prove it one way or another. So why not? Why not lie? Which is what a lot of fighters don't see the harm in, right?
Yeah, I think, it puts a little twist to it, and it creates a back and forth and some momentum for the fighters. Why not do it? But yeah, Jose Aldo, I guess he's going at Sterling, and Sterling, he's the champ. So like, does he get to choose who he fights next? Probably not. They're gonna probably give him who they want him to fight. Jose Aldo, is that a good fight? I think there's
I
other
guess
contenders.
I guess it would come down to, for like him and the promotion, it comes down to one thing. It comes down to who is going to sell the most pay-per-views. Like that's who will get, as chances are, like who's going to get the next fight. I don't know. I don't know the numbers between Aldo and Dillashaw. Like I'd say Aldo's like would do some pretty good. He's done some pretty good numbers in the past. You know what I mean? So that's like he's always going to be a strong possibility. But yeah, I guess if you want to know who's going to get that fight, go back and look at how many pay-per-views they've sold.
Yeah.
Whoever's sold, if one of them has sold a significant number more than the other, then I'm gonna tell you right now that's who's gonna get the fight.
Although he's been a pretty decent company man, for many years, and I think if they do ever go back to Brazil, and if they are going back to the next 6 months or the rest of the year, I could see them putting that fight together just to put on a pay-per-view in Brazil, in Rio, all those last kind of like hurrah or whatever you want to call it to win his title, to win another title. You know what I mean? I'd push for it. TJ Dillashaw is there, but I don't know what his status is with his injury. It seems like he's still recovering from it. So, Dillashaw, yeah, Aldo's gonna get a little luck, man. Sometimes luck is all you need, and you're gonna get the fight you want. So, yeah, let's put that together. Rob Font, man, he took a lot of damage in that fight. You know what I mean? Like his face was pretty busted up. Knocked down 3 times. I think maybe just take some time off, you know what I mean? And just train and relax a little bit. I think he's been real busy. I think this is his third main event in a row. That's pretty hectic training camps, man. 5 rounders that he's preparing for. And these guys go, like hard in their training camps, right? They're like really, really in camps, you know what I mean? So hopefully
just chill.
Yeah.
Sip some pina coladas, have a holiday.
Yeah, they should. They need to. Next one, Andrei Arlovski, man. Should he be in the Hall of Fame, man? I think they need to throw him in there right now.
Has to be.
Throw him in there right now.
So him and Jim Miller are just gonna continue to fight until the other one retires. Because I swear they're like both in a battle to see who can get like the most UFC fights of all time. If either one of them stop fighting, they're both 39 now? It'll both be 39 fights, or
yeah, something close. Like that. Well, Arlovski just tied most UFC wins with like Cowboy Cerrone and somebody else. So at like 23 wins, something like that. It's pretty insane, man. And the crazy part is he's won by decision. He hasn't finished a fight since Travis Brown, which is 2015.
Yeah, well, he's like he knows the game.
Yeah.
He understands the dangers of heavyweight. Like that's something that a lot of younger heavyweights don't understand, the dangers of heavyweight, which is guys that big hitting with that much force, like it doesn't really matter. Like either of them is going to go out. So he does play it quite smart. Like he's positioning. He tries to be defensive and tries to kind of slow the volume down a bit more against like a heavy puncher. He's a savvy veteran to still be out there is at his age and still be. That's a 4-fight win streak now, and he's still like he's talking about a title he was talking that before that. He said whether it's rankings, top 10, top 5, work my way towards the title. Like he's after the title. That's what he's in the game for. And I feel like that's obviously what you can't lose. Like you can't lose that will to be the best in the world, or just stop doing it. As soon as you come out there and say, "Oh man, I just want to have some fun fights," then I feel like it's like the same case for me. It's like you can't lose that willingness to be the best, or that belief in yourself that you're the best fighter in the world, or you can beat the best fighter in the world. I feel like that's when you start coming out and just saying, "Oh man, I just want to put on a show and have some fun fights." Then just you got enough money, just that's it. Just call it a day. It's like you're gonna get back out there because you believe you're the best. So it's like really cool to see a guy like that at 38, 39 fights in the UFC, still just with that willingness and still with that self-belief that he's the best fighter on the planet. It's very, man, and his whole story is pretty motivational if people look behind it. I think it was 5 or 6 knockout losses in a row that he like went through at one stage of his career. After leaving I think he left the UFC for Fedor, got knocked out, and it was like 4 or 5 after that where he was like, and man, the consensus in the like MMA community at the time was this guy needs to walk away, this guy needs to quit, this guy needs to retire. But not only did he like make his way back into the UFC, he's had some pretty, he's moved himself into the rankings, he's moved himself into the top 10. Obviously come out, now he's coming back. Like there's consistency over that period of time has been just nothing short of very impressive to watch.
Yeah, almost unbelievable. Back in like over 10 years ago, 2009, he was like knocked out like 3 out of 4 times in a row. You know what I mean? First round knockouts to like Fedor, what is it? Brett Rogers, Bigfoot Silva, Sergey
Brett Rogers.
Yeah, that's a name that we forgot about, right?
Did he die? I know. He had the fight with Dada 5000?
No, that was what's his name? Kimbo Slice.
I think Brett Rogers.
Kimbo Slice.
Brett Rogers is in prison.
I think so. Yeah, I think something happened to him. That's
Rogers,
why we don't see him fighting anymore.
Brett Rogers is in prison.
Yeah. So Brett, if you're watching, man, stay strong.
Well,
stay strong.
From prison? Nah. I don't. I'm not sure you want to say that. I think he like raped someone or something.
Oh, really? Okay. Don't stay strong. And
I think
make sure you drop the soap. Make sure you drop the soap.
I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. Nah. I think I don't know. Like I'm gonna.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
Someone's gonna have to do some research because now I've just accused someone of being a rapist. I don't know. Yeah. I'm gonna come out now. I don't know. Brett, if you have or you haven't, someone Google that shit.
All right. Well, let's see what Brett.
Yeah, I actually want to clarify.
Let's make
my own conscience. Like, if he's not and he's still active, and now he's just gone out and called him a rapist, like then it's
this guy.
Then I'm gonna feel bad.
Life. Okay, it says. Oh, you're right.
Oh, the money.
While at Ramsey County Jail, a former cellmate also accused Rogers of sexual assault. So when he was in jail.
Yeah. What?
Let me read this to you because this is fucking pretty graphic and interesting at the same time, right? Rogers allegedly groped his cellmate's penis through the prison uniform pads twice while the cellmate slept. The cellmate did not call for the guards because he feared Rogers would hurt him, describing Rogers as the biggest and strongest dude in the jail. Rogers told jail officers that he tapped the cell's leg, but he did not fondle him. Rogers said that when he talks to people, he touches or taps him, referring to it as a black thing. This is on Wikipedia. So, yes, there was some kind of stuff going on. But why did he
in jail for?
2011, he pleaded guilty to domestic abuse for choking his wife.
Okay, fuck that guy.
Oh, yeah, it's fucked up. This is some fucked up shit, yeah. And he went to jail for 60 days.
Don't be all good then. We're officially going.
Well,
Officially
he's
going,
got
fuck
he's got a
Brett
pretty
Rogers.
good list, man. 2016 sexual misconduct, 2017.
What is that?
Oh, dude, what the fuck? 2017, Rogers asked the man next to his urinal stall to go into another stall. No, I don't want to keep it. I don't want to keep it. I don't, dude. He went off the rails after he went to jail. Like, let's just say that he just.
My guy,
And,
Brett Rogers, is touching dicks. No one's dick is safe. Brett Rogers is gonna grab your dick through your pants. Bro, if I was standing at the urinal and some guy grabbed my dick, I would absolutely lose it. I'll say that right now. I would lose my shit. I'm swinging. I'm gonna put him away. I'm gonna put my dick away, and then I'm gonna start swinging. It's on.
Dad Hooker will put his dick away if you attack him in the urinal.
I'm glad we went into that. I'm glad we clarified. Fuck Brett Rogers.
Yeah,
we're official on that. That's our official Brett Rogers stance.
Exactly. Hey, everybody, if you don't believe me, go into Wikipedia. It's right there in black and white, and believe that. But going back to Arlovski, he had that streak, and then like you said, he lost like 5 in a row. Most of them were knockouts, and then he just came back, and yeah, it's been incredible. Like, people say that his chin was gone, and clearly it's not, because he's been hit with some heavy shots in a lot of the fights, and he stayed in it and won, by decision. But yeah, man, he's found the fountain of youth somewhere in Florida, and he's drinking all of it. So
he's got to get up.
Shout out to him.
Where's he in Florida? Oh, is he at ATT?
Yeah, he's at ATT. Nice. And that's a trip too. Like ATT, like almost like every heavyweight has fought each other, but they don't really like train with each other. It seems like
it's quite a out there gym, mate.
Yeah,
very clicky.
Yo, what about the fight before that? Andre Fili and Joanderson Brito. Joander Brito.
Yeah, I had no idea. Obviously, no Andre Fili is. I had no idea who the other cat was. Shapes. Got him.
41 seconds, man. And the thing is, like, when he was dropping the hammers, like, Fili went out. Like, you saw him like just like sleeping.
Yeah.
And then Anderson hit him again and woke him up. And then Fili knew, like, he wasn't even protesting. He knew, once the ref jumped in, that he had been knocked out. But yeah, incredible performance by Brito. Man, this guy, he's one of those guys that nobody's really talking about, but man, he just went in there and just took out like a 15-20 fight UFC veteran, man. Andre Fili. We always think of him as a young guy, but man, Fili's been around for a long time. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this guy, this Brazilian Brito, see what he can do in that featherweight division. Before that, Grant Dawson, man.
It was a good fight. That was a really good fight. I enjoyed that fight. Like the scrambles between those two were like, obviously Jared's like a great grappler as well and good enough, because like most of the time you'll see that Grant obviously take someone's back and just like sit there and do that for like 2 or 3 rounds, and then that's the fight. You know what I mean? But Jared had such good defense that he was able to escape and scramble out, which made it, him being such a high-level grappler and brown belt, made it such a good fight. You know what I mean? His ability to escape and make those scrambles. That was a good contest from both of them. I thoroughly enjoyed that fight.
Yeah, Gordon looked like he was a little bit crisper on the feet throughout the fight. You know what I mean? Like he would throw in like a decent amount of combinations. With Grant, he just seemed faster than him. You know what I mean? Just like used the kicks really well. And then, like you said, man, he just has a way of getting to people's backs and just staying there. And once I think he perfects that, like getting to people's backs and staying there, and then actually finishing guys from the back, because he's done it before, but he just needs to do it more. And he actually did it today with the rear naked choke. But man, he's a problem, man. He hasn't, since he's been in the UFC, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is his 6th straight win, and he has 1 draw. he hasn't lost in that lightweight division. You know what I mean? So they need to test him, man. They need to give him somebody that is, you know, somewhere up there, like in the late 15s or something like that, to test Grant. What you trying to say?
Sheesh.
What you trying to say?
Sheesh.
But Grant Dawson is a guy. I think this year he'll break out a little bit more. I think they're going to give him a really good matchup next. I'm excited to see what he can do, especially with his new team. Seems like he's found a good set of coaches, and we'll see, man. He's a prospect or prospect contender. I don't even know what the fuck is the difference, but nowadays these words, yeah, it's like, yeah, there's like, because it's like, can you be a 35-year-old prospect in MMA? I think you can, for some fucking weird reason.
I think you can.
Yeah,
I think you
but
can.
in basketball, you can't be a fucking, oh, this 35-year-old prospect is hitting the court for the first time. No, there's no fucking 35-year-old prospect in any other sport. It's only this sport because we're fucking crazy people, right? Darren Elkins, man, Darren the Damage.
He looked good. My guy
did
looked
look
good. He had his little head movement going and everything. Like, yeah, my guy looked good. Darren Elkins he's pulling through. He's pulling through. He's got like a good team of coaches around him. Obviously, Castillo was like trying to suck him out of getting in the brawl and just being like, nah. But that was an incredible fight as well. That kind of looked done after the first round. I was like, oh, this is kind of all she wrote. What was the other guy's name? The Canadian bloke?
Tristan Connolly.
That's the first time. I know he fought Pereira or whatever, but that's the first time like I actually known who he was and seen him fight. Game. Like he's gonna have a massive future as well. That was some good fights like early on that main card. Like the first, I don't know, like the other one, the Mersha Jocko one. That was good. Like this whole card was good. I enjoyed this whole card. You know, usually when people aren't getting knocked out left, right, and center, I don't enjoy it so much. But no, this was decisions, and I thoroughly enjoyed the contest. Matchmakers, I'll give you a small round of applause.
This undefeated heavyweight, man, Alexander Romanov, he won the fight first round, Americana against Chase Sherman. I think he's a problem, dude. This guy. At heavyweight.
Wasn't he that was the most? Those are like the longest odds in UFC history. That fight.
Yeah, was it like plus 1,000 or some shit like that?
Plus like 1,100.
Fuck. Yeah, and he proved it, man. Like this dude is a problem.
I only saw it because obviously Dana White posted about it, right? Like Dana puts a post up. That's my guy. That's my guy. My guy. Dana White can sell ice for a goddamn Eskimo. Like, he gets after it. Like, going, man, no one can be that long of odds in MMA. You should chuck a bit on Chase Sherman.
Oh,
he can sell it.
He was minus 2,200. Fuck. That's nuts.
I don't know how so if you put on $100, you win. Whoa. See, those are like the bets I get. Like this is why I'm like shit at betting. This is gonna be funny for the upcoming week because obviously I've had like there's the big lightweight fights coming up, right? Like there's Oliveira, Chandler and Ferguson and that. So I've had like a lot of people hitting me up like, oh man, can we get an interview in this week? Because they're gonna do the interview, just be like, hey, yeah, still alive. But what they really want, I know what they really want. They're not really checking in on me. They want to get a bit of the end where they go, oh, so who do you think is? How do you think this one goes? How do you think? I reckon my plan. I'm gonna explain my plan. I think I'm gonna tell like all different interviews, like different answers for the thing. Like I'm gonna just be like one of them. I'm gonna be like, nah. 100%, Gaethje's gonna knock him out. That's what I'm saying. Gaethje's gonna knock him out. And then the next interview I'll be like, nah, Charles Oliveira, submission, first round, 100%. Take it to the bank. Put your money on. And then I'm just gonna watch like the headlines come out, just like Dan Hooker
Yeah.
says this. Oh no, wait. Dan Hooker says the complete opposite of this.
Dan Hooker contradicts himself in the next
If I
interview.
knew, I don't even know why people are asking me. If I knew, wouldn't I be a millionaire by now? If I knew, like, if I had some kind of, oh yeah, but you're a lightweight and you're like, you've been doing it a very long time. If I knew, wouldn't I be oh no, wait, I am a millionaire. Wouldn't I be a millionaire from gambling? Not from getting punched in the head.
That's true. There's a few like fighters that are out there.
Terrible. I never win any money.
Well, I think that you should take it like to the next level instead of just saying like the obvious, like, yeah, Oliveira is gonna submit Gaethje. It'd be better to just be like, yeah, I've been seeing vulnerabilities in Oliveira's ground game, so I'm definitely picking Gaethje by submission. You know what I mean? Like Gaethje's very good at, taking the back.
People already know I'm a troll though. They already know I try to take the piss out of everyone. So I think like that will be. I think if I do that, they'll be onto me straight away. They'll just be like, "Nah, Dan's just pulling our leg."
No, they don't give a fuck. They'll be like, Dan Hooker blasts Oliveira's ground game. People will just be up in arms, like, oh, he's the greatest fucking, grappler to ever grace the octagon.
So that's the funny one, is that people will read like that. People will read like, I will say like a joke about someone. Someone takes it serious, puts a headline. Someone reads that. So this is for the people that read that headline, get upset with me and like attack me without actually reading the article. They'll like message you and they'll just be like, Charles Oliveira would kill your whole family. And I'm just like, I didn't say that. I don't care if you say that to me though. I'm pretty I have incredibly thick skin.
Yeah.
And I don't even read the comments.
And why? Yeah, people will really write that. Like, Charles Oliveira will kill your whole family. Like, people will really write shit like that. And you're like, why?
100%. 100%.
Why would Charles Oliveira want to kill my family in any fucking scenario? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what kind of mother raised you to, right?
People take this shit. People take this shit mad serious. People take this shit mad serious.
They do. Like they're Charlie Olive's like best friend. You know what I mean? Like,
chill.
They were childhood.
Chill. I'm like, chill. All good.
Definitely chill. There was a knee bar submission, which is not something that we see very often. What do you think about that type of submission in MMA? You know what I mean? Like, I always wanted to ask.
We saw a knee bar last week. Clay Guida got knee barred last week.
Oh, that's right. Why? Man, my brain just like.
Was that the one? Work. Is that the one you're talking about? You're talking about last week.
No, this week there was a knee bar by
I didn't see
Davison Figueiredo's brother, Francisco Figueiredo.
Oh shit!
He fought on the prelims. He got a first round knee bar submission, and it was beautiful. I like knee bar submissions. I don't know why. I just like how like they look when you finish it. Like, my favorite one was when Frank Mir knee barred Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And made him tap. That was an interest. I like that one. But how hard is it to like establish a knee bar submission in an actual fight? Because you're in a vulnerable position, right, when you're attacking.
Yeah, like leg locks in general, you're going to end up, if you fail them, you're going to end up on the bottom, right? Yeah. Which is never like a good thing. But it's like it's anything. Whatever you spend your time doing, you're eventually going to master in martial arts, and that's like the real crux of MMA, is that you can't master like every submission. Obviously, I know like a lot of different submissions. I probably know you could say, just throw a number out there, like 50 submissions, but I'm probably good at like 3 of them. I can probably hit on like a good level grappler, probably 3 of them. I could probably hit 2 of them on anyone in the world. You know what I mean? But I know like 50. So it's the same with these guys. Like, they probably know 100 submissions, but their knee bar is probably up there in like their top 3 that they can hit on like the best guys in the world. So it's everyone. That's the funny thing about it. Like everyone has the same amount of time, the same amount of hours in the day, and you only have like a limited number to put on something, right? Whether that be striking, wrestling, grappling, even in the grappling. Oh, well, I'm going to get good at this. I'm going to get good at that. You fight, you show it. Now people know it. So, everyone's going to know that this guy's like a knee bar guy and have the time to, which makes it all the more impressive to hit a submission like that at this level is what's like even more impressive because the guy had time to go away and study it and train it and train the defense. Like that's the hard thing I think about hitting leg locks.
Yeah, I think that's the only leg lock that I know how to do at like where I could hit it on people in a grappling session, like I guess in a transition to where like their leg is stuck between my legs from behind, and I just grab their leg and try to fucking rip it apart. Yeah, but the thing about knee bars is you could get into that position and you could control, like heel hooks and stuff like that. Like some guys, they can't control like how far they want to go, and then sometimes they go too far and they hurt you. But knee bar, I feel like you could kind of like hold the position until they tap, not hurt them.
Well, it's straight, right? It's straight. Like it comes on, everything gets locked on, and then as you apply pressure, like the joint gets extended. It's like the same as an armbar, right? Like you have an opportunity to tap. Like the reason why heel hooks are so dangerous is they don't hurt before they pop. Like they don't. It's like an armbar. It comes on, your arm starts getting extended. It hurts, like, and you have like an opportunity to tap. Like that's the real danger in the heel hook. Is it doesn't hurt. Like someone puts a heel hook on you, you're just like, oh, like I could fight this, and you can stay in it for a bit and then like snap. See you later, ACL. 6-month holiday. 6 months on the beach drinking Mai Tais. No work for you, bud.
For real, right? Yeah, you're right, man. But the thing is, like, nobody has come in and become that guy. That guy that could just go in there and like heel hook everybody. Even Gary Tonin. You saw his last fight. He was trying to go for the heel hooks.
Yeah, but a couple have tried. Like it's definitely there's definitely guys out there, and they're to be respected and they're to be dangerous. Paul Harriers, like that's like a scary thing. Ryan Hall would be an absolute. It's just a pain in the ass to fight, right? Like that is a pain in the ass fight. Like Paul Harriers is a pain in the ass fight. Like a heel hook specialist or leg lock specialist, like absolute pain in the ass to fight. Like, yeah, all right, if I'm probably gonna knock this guy out, but he might snap my ACL. Like it's like it's a pretty big risk. Like that fight, if you fight any of those guys, Paul Harriers, Ryan Hall, these heel hook specialists, like that's a high risk fight because there's always that chance that they're gonna grab a hold of your heel, and then you like the penalty for not tapping to that is a very long time on the shelf. Like it's like a potentially career-ending injury from not tapping to that. So it's like the fun. It's like the danger of it. That's like the fun of it.
Yeah, definitely danger. And what about the knee stomps? I feel like people get up in arms about the knee stomp, but it's a legit move. I think like
fuck you. Don't be a crybaby. Who's complaining about knee stomps? You shut up about that. You ban armbars in. I don't like doing armbars. You know what I mean? Like we're just gonna pick shit out that you're good at and I'm not good at. Like, yeah, let's ban everything I'm not good at. You know what I mean? How hard is it to move your leg out of the way? You know what I mean?
Hard, but
if you don't want your knee stomped off, don't fight me. That's my whole thing about it. Like, I'm gonna try to stomp your knee off. You know what I mean? If you don't want that, then when you get my name, you say no. Like that's why I would never complain about like someone beating me up or kicking my ass, because I'm not going to complain if I beat someone else's ass. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'm not the one. Like it's what you sign up for when you sign up to fight. So it's like whether it goes your way or goes the other way, you can't complain because you agreed to play the game.
Definitely agree to play the game, and yeah, you sign up for it. You know, you know the dangers and the hazards of everything that's going on. But I think a lot of the people that are sitting on the sidelines, they don't understand that. They just think like, "Oh, this is how you should do it." They just start fucking crying.
You could hurt his knee. It's like there's heaps of submissions you can do to hurt someone's knee. It's like, and like, oh, you can kick him in the head, but you can't. It's like that make no sense. Doesn't make any sense to me.
It's like if somebody in the UFC like took someone's back and like did the cross. You know how they do the across the face like choke from the back, but they're really just crushing their jaw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if somebody like crushed it so hard, some of these dudes have really like crazy strength and like real good grip, strong grip. If someone broke their jaw in that position, right? Like say like I grab somebody, or let's say like a fighter grabs somebody and then snap their jaw, broke it, and then they won. Then that's the same argument. It's like, would you fucking make cross-face chokes illegal? You know what I mean? Like there's no argument there.
Tap.
Like that's a move. Yeah,
tap.
You tap.
You know what I mean?
Know it hurts.
Tap. You know what I mean? If your opponent is a knee stomp guy and you don't hate knee stomps, like then don't fight him, or just stay at home, wrap yourself in a blanket, turn the Netflix on, and do something else with your life, because this is probably not for you if you're out there complaining about knee stomps.
There's the service announcement right there for people that want to get into the sport of
wrap up
in
your little blanket, put your little Netflix on the TV, sit down, warm up some cupcakes and a cup of tea, because this is probably not for you.
Definitely not. They just announced what is it? Cater versus Emmett, June 18th, main event. I think that this is a.
I've left the chat. I've left the featherweight chat. I'm out of it.
Oh, okay.
Don't care. It's too late. Nah. That's a good fight. That's
a very good fight, right?
I like both of those boys.
They're getting after it.
Good. Yeah, he's made some real good improvements from when he fought Holloway to Giga. Like he's upped his pace a bit. He's really like stepped his game up. But Emmett's on fire as well. His overhand is just a rocket, man. So that's a main eventer. Where is it? In Texas?
I don't know where exactly. It might be in Las Vegas. It's a fight night. Is it?
Texas.
But I don't know. I'm gonna say this. I think Emmett probably has the most power in his hands. If you look at the division, if you just look at his track record of like how he finishes fights and just clips dudes and just incredible. And Cater is more of a volume guy. That's the striking battles I like to see. One guy is a volume guy. The other guy, has more of that one punch knockout power. And whoever wins should get the next title shot. I think this should be a title eliminator. It's a main event, so it sets you up 5 rounds. You're in camp for 5 rounds. So the next one, whoever wins gets the title shot. Looks like they're going to be doing Volkanovski Holloway 3. That's what I'm saying. If Volk doesn't go up to lightweight and fight, what other fight is there? Like, let's get that one. Let's figure it out. It's
like once he like maybe they're waiting, like once he seals the deal on that, it's like who else is there? You know what I mean? Like let's get him seal the deal on that, and then if he comes out and says 55 title, like then it's a whole different story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into next week's card, man. Let's talk about next week's card.
Let's talk about it. Because I have all the answers.
I know you do.
All the answers.
I know you do.
There's going to be headlines about this. You what?
I know there are going to be headlines about this. I don't even have to like pretend to like wish for it. It's just going to happen. Like someone's watching right now saying like, all right, what?
Get the pen and paper out. Give them the warning. Get your pen and paper out, lads.
Here we go. All right, so main event, UFC 274, Phoenix, Arizona. in the desert. Charles Oliveira, the champ, versus Justin Gaethje, a former interim champ. This is a fucking crazy fight. You know what I mean? Let me give you some like stats, I guess.
Stat me down.
Gaethje's 1 inch taller, but has a 4-inch reach disadvantage, which is interesting, right?
He doesn't have the longest arms.
Yeah, he doesn't have the longest arms. He's people like to call it the T-Rex, but I'll let people choose on that. Takedown average, takedown, man, there's nothing for Gaethje. Gaethje does not go for takedowns. Isn't that just a unique thing right there? Like, you're a wrestler coming into the sport, but now you fully almost evolved into this striker. Is it because their base of wrestling is so strong that they can do that? I don't know, but just looking at Gaethje right now, how he's performed in the last couple of fights, what do you see in him? Like, what strengths do you see in him heading into this fight against someone, the caliber of Oliveira?
Okay, we'll see what we're gonna do. Okay, Gaethje's gonna knock him out. Gaethje's gonna knock him out. First round. Charles Oliveira shit. That'll be a headline.
There you go.
Nah, there'll be he just like the level of composure that that Gaethje's shown lately has been like a new feather in his cap. That when he doesn't get sucked into those brawls and he sticks to his game plan, he uses his footwork, like the way that he can circle both ways, stay behind his jab, pop his right hand off. I'd say if it's a slower pace fight, then I'm definitely like leaning towards Gaethje just with that footwork. Similar, because you have to look at like similar opponents. I would say Charles Oliveira and like Tony Ferguson are pretty similar. Besides like all the bullshit that Tony Ferguson does, the way they move is pretty similar. They stand quite tall in their stance. If it gets into like a wild frenzy and Charles Oliveira has a chance to drag this to the mat, I'd say it leans more towards him. But I would say I'm leaning towards Gaethje, like just picking him apart and it looking like a bit more of a replay of the Tony Ferguson fight. That's how I figure. That's how I'll hedge my bet.
Oliveira, like I bet against him many times in recent fights, and what worries
dropped
me.
in both of those fights.
That's what I'm saying. That's what worries me a little bit about this fight. Charles Oliveira, extremely talented, of course. We could say all the greatest things about Charles Oliveira that everybody else says, right? But we still gotta look back at those two fights. He got dropped in the first round on both fights and just had to come back, right? And I think Gaethje is gonna come blasting, man. I think that he's gonna take his time.
I think that's when he's gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna take his time. But his everything he throws is bad intentions, right? Even though he's kind of slowing the pace, but when he launches punches, it's just he's trying to take your head off. And Charlie Olives, man, it's going to be interesting to see if he can take those punches. Like Gaethje has extreme power in his hands. I'm leaning towards Gaethje myself, but man, every time I pick against Oliveira, he just wins. But you could only play with the MMA gods for so long, right? And be reckless for so long until your day comes and you're sitting or you're laying down on the canvas looking up at the lights, because you're trying to entertain the fans. And I think Oliveira has that in him too. He wants to entertain the fans as well. But I think as a champion, you should not have that in your mind. As a champion, your mindset should be, I got to keep this gold belt so I can continue adding rubies, because each ruby is like $100 or $200 or $300,000 paycheck for you every time you fight, right? So
Oh, more than that, brother. More than that, eh? More than that for the lightweight belt. Thank you very much.
So that's the way I look at it. But man, if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. But if Oliveira gets his back, it's done. I think it's over with like faster than Habib submitted him. Because and there's the headline.
To say. What a Dan
Hooker's
to say.
Dan Hooker's sidekick. There's
Dan Hooker's sidekick reckons. Nah, you're gonna have to say something like more wild to get a headline. It's gotta be
Oliveira, secret information.
It's gotta be grabbing.
Yeah. Secret information.
We could start the you could start like a
fake
rumor or something.
Fake rumor. Yeah. We're just Charles Oliveira is entering the fight with his vision at 10%. I'm just telling you right now. And that's why I'm picking Justin Gaethje, because this is the rumor around Rumorville in Brazil.
I heard. Guy from his gym called me. And
exactly. And you know how I knew he was from his gym? Because he had the blonde hair. That's all I know. You know what I mean? And he was the little secret, spreading secrets. And so
I usually just pick who I think I want to win. I feel like your heart overrides your logic like so much in this sport. Like you want one guy to win more than the other. In this fight, I hate both of them. I don't care. I want them both to lose. I want every lightweight on the card to get knocked out simultaneously. If I was saying. So when I do pick, let's say it's impartial. I'm impartially going with Gaethje.
If I was going with my this is the only honest answer you're gonna get out of me for the rest of the week. If you see me comment on any other podcasts or interviews, I'm chatting shit. Well,
but the MMA live from the AllStar gets the truth, baby.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I can't wait until like the Friday, right? Once all those like headlines come out, I'm just gonna read all of them and just be like, Dan, just stirring up shit. That's all he's doing is just stirring up shit. Or you're giving the blueprint to every other fighter that's getting interviewed about other fights that, hey, just say different things in each interview, and then you just confuse the shit out of everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a great plan. So if you're watching, if you're listening, just hit up Dan. You know what I mean? He's doing interviews for the lightweight division. All right, let's talk about the other lightweight fight then. Ferguson versus Chandler. I love this fight. I think Chandler did a great job of like going out there and chasing after the Ferguson fight, and Ferguson bid on it. I'm all day Michael Chandler in this one, man. I don't know if Ferguson hasn't shown us lately like his old self. You know what I mean? We haven't seen him perform as good as he has, prior to like the last couple of fights. Even though he's done really well and he's fighting the best in the world, but I feel like Chandler's just at a different point in his career versus Ferguson, and I think Chandler's gonna go in there and put on a show and end up probably winning a decision. I don't think I see Ferguson getting finished in this fight. What do you see?
No, I don't know. This is a fun one. To me, it's like, what's the amount of time that Tony Ferguson's been outside of the cage, right? Like he's taken a lot of time off. He's taken a good amount of time off, which he needed, right? Like I don't feel like he was just kind of at the stage as a getting burnt out. You know what I mean? And he must have felt the same because he obviously turned his phone off, from what like Sean Shelby's told me. the bro just turned his phone off, put it down, and just didn't care about it. You know what I mean? Which is obviously the best thing for him. So we're we're gonna see that. We're gonna see what Tony Ferguson looks like after a good holiday. You know what I mean? Coming back and fresh and good to go. That's like the big question for me: how Tony Ferguson looks after that amount of time off. Because we know, like, you know what Michael Chandler's going to do. He almost can't not do it. Like he's looking at this run in the UFC as like his only run. You know, like he's here for a good time, not a long time. He's coming out. He's going to come out and start throwing. Like the guy has got like a reckless abandon for his own health. He's going to come out, start swinging. So it's that's an interesting way to fight Tony Ferguson. You know, if you come out like the way that he slices people up and moves, and he's so awkward, it's going to be hard to really time him or get a gauge on him. So, yeah, I can't even pick in this one. I'm just excited to see how Ferguson looks. Like that's really the only question I have in it for me.
Is it that question where it's like, is Ferguson on his way out, or does he still have it? Is that kind of like the question in this fight? Like,
nah, it's just like that, like how that amount of time off did him. You know, like he just needed a good amount of time off and took a good amount of time off. Like, who did he lose to? Right, like he lost to Charles Oliveira, Beneil Dariush. And that was it.
Two of the best, two of the best in the world.
And that was it. You know what I mean? And just stuck in there, almost got his arm ripped off. Like nothing about those fights, nothing about either of those fights was a guy looking for a way out. To me, it looked like he got hurt in submissions early and was like gutted it out and fought through them, which is none of those fights made me question like his will to fight. You know what I mean? Oh, and the Gaethje fight. The Gaethje fight. He took like quite a few shots in the Gaethje fight. And that was like the first fight where it was like new Gaethje, right? Like we were expecting like a bit more of a reckless Gaethje, but then he came out and we saw like the debut of patient Gaethje, which is that's a scary dude. That's a dangerous dude. And probably obviously Tony Ferguson didn't expect him to come out and be that technical and that controlled as he was. So there was like that fight. Yeah, I'm not saying that he's done. Like it's hard. It's no one else's place to say when anyone else is like loses the will to fight.
Yeah, that's something that it's up to the fighter. You know what I mean? Like we have no idea if that is there or not.
Like you don't know. Like you imagine sitting back when like Arlovski started like having a bit of a lose streak and just being like, man, this guy's. Imagine hedging a bet like, oh, this guy's never gonna make it back into the UFC, and like look at him now. Like it's entirely, you can see that it's entirely on the fighter. It's entirely on how long that they want to keep doing this. It's just it's just a tough way to make money. Like it's like being a professional bull rider or something like that. Like one day you just get sick of getting on the bull, but you can keep doing it. You can keep doing it for as long as you want.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what I hate is that people are saying that if he loses this fight, that he should be released or cut. And it's like, yo, like, dude is fighting the best in the world.
You're still like, regardless of what happens, he gets flatlined in 10 seconds. You give it a couple of months, I'm still going to want to see Tony Ferguson fight. Yeah. I want to see. I could watch Tony Ferguson fight for the next 10 years. Like I could tell you right now, if he loses 10 in a row, I'm still going to want to see Tony Ferguson get out there and fight. Like people just panic too quick. And that's why like I hear people say to me as well, they're just like, man, if that happened to me, I wouldn't be able to get over that. And it's like, yeah, but you don't get in the cage anyway. So it's like you would have. Like,
you have no understanding.
Yeah. Like you haven't even got in there and even tried before. It's like, of course you wouldn't be able to get over it. It's like, it's the funny thing about it.
Yeah, Ferguson, man, I think he's a very valuable, fighter for the UFC, to be honest, because his last 7 fights have been pay-per-views. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get on 7 straight pay-per-views if you're not a
Not unless
value to the company.
not unless when you fight and your name's on the billboard, that more people click and pay money to see you watch you fight. Like that guy, yeah, I'm sure he's got a great contract. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see him get back out there. And then it's not like he's getting thrown back in at like an easy fight or anything like that. The guy's getting chucked back in with Michael Chandler. So
even with the 3-fight even with the 3-fight losing streak, if he beats Michael Chandler, he's back in the mix. He's back in the fucking mix for the title shot. Like, you're not gonna see Tony. Yeah, it's not like Tony Ferguson is fighting Grant Dawson, or Tony Ferguson is fighting like he's way off a gatekeeping role. Like, that guy it's OG. He is OG, and man, I can't wait to see that one. Yo, Shogun is back. He's still fighting. You know what I mean? I don't think there's many guys still left from like the Pride era. Oh, you had to go back to get a clearer view.
Nah, I'm not. Who's he fighting?
He's rematching OSP.
Oh yeah.
Which I guess people want to see that. You know what I mean? I don't know if particularly I want to see that fight, OSP versus Shogun, but they're making it happen. And the first fight, you know,
I would like to see Shogun fight. I would like to see him fight an old man. I would like to see him fight. What weight is that? Like heavyweights. He's old dog.
205.
Roll Vanderlei out. Get Vanderlei back in here. You know what I mean? Call Hendo up.
Yeah. Get the trilogy going. Those are some of the greatest fights, right? Like him and
I'll give you money for that.
Yeah. Some insane fights right there. But yeah, I think a lot of people feel this way too with Shogun. It's just like Shogun's a guy that's fighting just because he loves fighting. Like, let's put it out there like that. He just loves to fight. I guess he just loves to train, just loves the feeling, and that's what he's doing, and that's why he's still fighting. So they put him on the pay-per-view, and we'll see what happens, man. If he wins, then we're gonna see him more and more. If he loses, we're gonna see him more and more. You know what I mean? Because he's fighting because he loves the sport, man. What do you want? What do you want from this guy?
He likes to have a fight.
Exactly. This one's interesting. The co-main event. Namajunas is Esparza, the rematch. Namajunas is at -200, the favorite to win this fight, even though she lost the first one. Basically, in the first one, from what I remember,
that was Ultimate Fighter, right?
Yeah, but Esparza was able to utilize her wrestling really well against Rose and dominated the fight and won the title. A lot of people are expecting something different in this one. What are you expecting? Because I know you're a fan of Rose.
I'm a Thug Rose, but I'm also...
There was a headline for that too. Did you see that one?
But I'm also Team Oyama.
Oh, that's
Colin Oyama.
OG, yeah. One of the guys that people don't really talk about too much, man, but he's been around for a long time. He was in the corner of like some of the biggest fights in Pride.
Yeah. Probably that guy's been around. Yeah, like who was it? Like Rampage Jackson.
Yeah. Tito
Ortiz. He's from that. You know, he was Marlon Vera's coach for a long time. So Carla Esparza, I believe she's still training with Team Oyama, and because my striking coach, Tristram, he trained with under Colin Oyama as well. Like, he's gone over there and done a few camps back when he was competing and fighting. And so I cannot pick against a Team Oyama fighter. I refuse out of principle.
All right.
So I'm just not going to pick.
All right. Well, I'm going to make a pick. And I think Esparza is just going to be doing the same thing. I feel like she's done the same thing to the last, I don't even know, 5 opponents, and she's done really well with it. I don't see why you know, change something that's been working, you know what I mean? And I think she's probably going to be able to do it against Rose. It's just, can Rose get back to her feet? Because I think she's going to be taken to the ground multiple times. If Rose can get back to her feet, Rose is going to dominate, I think, in this fight and just piece her up. Because Rose is just striking is, I don't know, she's up there, man. She's probably one of the best strikers, women strikers in the world, underneath like Valentina, you know what I mean? Of course. But yeah, I think we're gonna see just more of that. More of what she did to Zhang Wei Li against Esparza, except for the takedown threat is there continuously. And I see a finish. I think Rose finishes her late, but Esparza is gonna fight tooth and nail because this is her possibly her last chance of winning a title again. She was the former champ, so she's gonna fight hell. But Rose is just like so skilled, man. She's amazing to watch. I would not miss any of her fights. So I'm picking Rose to win late stoppage. So I take the favorite in this one. But anyways,
Ping.
That's next week's pay-per-view right there. Oh, one more fight I guess we could talk about, which is the last one on the pay-per-view, is Donald Cerrone versus Joe Lauzon. I like these fights, man. I like that they're doing these. Let's see what these OGs can do to each other. Let them bang, bro. And this is going to be an interesting one. What do you think about this? Like, do you like these matchups?
Yeah. Like, I want to see these guys. I want to see them compete. And just chucking the OG vets to just the young lions is it's not good for them, right? Like, let's let the young lions fight other young lions. Like, I like this fight. I think this is a great fight. I like Cowboy. I like Lauzon. I will not miss that fight, and I can't wait for it.
They got Cowboy as the favorite. You see Cowboy as the favorite? I think Cowboy's lost like 5 in a row or something like that too.
But that's it. Like, this is the first time he's gone back to, like, he's had a fair whack off. He's had like a good amount of time off. What was this last fight? It was Nico Price?
I believe so.
And then he's had like a good amount of time off. He's come back to 55. So yeah, I'm excited. That's a 50-50. You can never count Joe Lauzon out of a fight, right? Like, that guy's he's a wild man.
He is, and he hasn't fought in a while either, Joe Lauzon. When's the last time he fought? Yeah, J-Lo hasn't fought since 2019. What?
My guy's been waiting. He's been waiting for Donald Cerrone to get off his ass.
That's what you call extreme recovery, right? If you haven't fought since 2019, you're just like, I'm in recovery, man. Let's get back to 100%. And yeah, it's an interesting fight. I think that they did a good job with the matchmaking. I like to see these veterans fight each other and put them together while you can. That's what we need to do. Put the fights together while you can, and that's what the UFC does. I guess we are done. Appreciate everybody that joined along. We see you in the comments and showing love and all that. And as the show goes, we'll try to get more questions in. Sometimes we just get into these like warp zones, and
sometimes we just go off on rants.
Yeah, but that's the best. That's the best time.
Sometimes we go off on rants and just forget you're here.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta check yourself, but make sure to subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. And if you write an article, make sure to credit the show. And yeah, we'll see. So we'll see you guys next week after the big pay-per-view. It's gonna be a fun one. Dan's gonna go beat somebody with a green hangman. What are those called right there?
This is just a pool noodle. I just call it a pool noodle.
A noodle, right? Yes, a noodle. So he's gonna go beat somebody with this noodle.
If your coach
That's
only
what it is.
holds these, he's saving his shoulders. He cheating it.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.